Hamilton Island in the stunning Whitsundays, this is the place you come to relax. It's also now inspired some new, beautiful architecture, including a hideaway for an international billionaire whose identity we can't reveal. But I guarantee you, this sandcastle is one of the best you will ever see.
When I say unique, I don't say that lightly.
I've been doing it 17 years now, and I've never, ever built anything like this.
Spectacular, amazing, iconic.
It's a piece of art. The whole house is just a piece of art.
Wonderful site, great view, great environment, beautiful tropical setting.
I'm on my way to Solace in the main mode of transport on Hamilton Island. There are other interesting and extravagant properties here, but none to rival Solace. Designed by Sydney-based architect Renata Diattore.
The client came with a very simple brief. He wants to build on the island, show me some concepts, 3-bedroom house. Let's show me what you can come up with. Hello, Peter.
This is Solace. What an incredible site.
Well, I'm glad you're excited because, how can you not be excited with a fantastic site like this? As we walk, notice that the pathway is not straight. It's angled to create a bit more of that dynamic approach to the house, just a subtle bend. And look, just stop here. Look at that boulder, Peter. You'll see that boulder in a better profile as we walk around the house, but that was really one of the key features of the house.
That's a very powerful element, isn't it? Now, this is the buggy port, which you need to have here on Hamilton Island. It's a beautiful piece of sculpture, but it's more than that. It's a piece of sculpture that frames that view.
So, again, the stairs here are deliberately made to slow down, gently descending, so that, you can take in this view that you'll see for the first time, this expansive view. And now, this is where I suggest, Peter, to experience the architecture through your feet.
And Renato, water is such a key feature in the design.
Well, yes, if you're in the tropics, it's almost, again, an essential element you need to introduce to have that sense of coolness, but also deliberately to introduce those elements of these ephemeral moments, the rippling of the surface, the fish, the water lilies. It was just all part of the experience, to slow your life down, just to take it in before you are drawn into the house.
I love the sensual feel of this stone under your feet. And this is like crossing the bridge, leaving the world behind.
Now, Peter, I just want to show you this part of the house. I want to show you this because this is where we started the planning. We kept it easy, but elements enough to just give you that sense that you're in some special space.
But there's no walls here.
Well, you don't want walls here because it's deliberate. We want the outside to come in. From wherever you are constantly reminded that you're in the tropics. The walls are for urban living, not the tropics. It's the old Asians do it well.
Another strong Asian principle is these slight level changes, and this one takes us to the swimming pool in the living room. Love it.
Yes, well, again, it's nice to be in that proximity. So it's to entice you to take a swim. Let's move over to the outdoor space. And we've actually come to the area where most people like to gravitate, because essentially it has all the things that you need. Table, cooking, lounge chair, and a view against there. Most of the time, the clients live out here.
I love the little reflections that you're getting in the eave lines off the ponds.
Well, yeah, and that's the part of living on the island. You get those moments where you just get a gaze of a reflection of a double light. It's those small things that make living on the island again, reconnecting to the island life.
So this is like the high altar of this beautiful outdoor space to celebrate outdoor living. I mean, that is the most extraordinary blue I've seen in a swimming pool, and the way it ties itself into the Whitsundays there is, it's jaw-dropping.
That wet edge is essential on a site like this. It just gives you that water on water. You know, this is an experience where you're connected to the ground, you can feel it under your feet. Upstairs, a completely different experience.
People talk about the indoor-outdoor relationship. I've never seen it done to this level. This house is multi-dimensional, both laterally and vertically. Every space pulling you in different directions depending on the time of day. It took a clever architect. Now, if you're looking to find an architect, find the right one. Go to findanarchitect.com.au. There you'll find A+ architects, and who knows, they may come up with something as nice as this. And how did Renato do it? After the break, his eureka moment.
We kept the spaces simple, we kept the forms simple.
Sandcastles, proudly supported by Boral. Build something great. This tropical masterpiece belongs to a US-based billionaire. He gets here for a few days each month and values the privacy and beauty offered on Hamilton Island in Queensland's Whitsundays.
I think Solace, in its own right, is an outstanding piece of architecture.
Olympic sailor Glenn Burke has seen tens of millions of dollars poured into Hamilton Island, giving it a remarkable new look.
This Hamilton Island Yacht Club is one of the things that we're most proud of and one of the most inspired architectural pieces on the island. We created the luxury resort Qualia with 60 boutique individual villas that look out over a chunk of the Coral Sea, each with great privacy and beautiful intimacy. Many of the movie stars who prefer to remain nameless, who come in here quite secretly and hide away up in Qualia and enjoy their time. Even like the owner of Solace. I mean, he is very much flying under the radar.
He's an international businessman, kind of likes to keep a low profile. I was a project manager for Solace. I kind of was the fluid in between the architect and the owner and the builder.
Most complex build I've done, I've been doing it 17 years now, and I've never ever built anything like this.
The extraordinary plans were born of a long and arduous design process.
After 3 concepts, we gave up. We thought, it's not leading somewhere, there's something wrong.
Well, the owner came down and he goes, "Oh my God, what are you building?" I think he thought it was a little bit more overwhelming than what he had banked on. And when he said, "My God, you're building this Sistine Chapel here."
And we started addressing, why would you come to the tropics?
For his inspiration, Renato returned to 4 important elements.
Sunlight, sea, air, and water.
The eureka moment was realising the key to the house was its relationship with these elements, particularly water.
Once we addressed those principles, we found that the house started to kind of have a meaning. We kept the spaces simple, we kept the forms simple. I think once we arrived at that, we started planning the house from inside rather than from outside. It started unfolding, it started making sense, it started coming together wonderful, and then it was just off and running then. This is a space where it's small, but it's spectacular in that it's really where you get this uninterrupted panoramic view. You're elevated, you look down, you get your bearings. There's nothing kind of surrounding you, and you're really just literally almost floating in the air.
Renato, I think you're a romantic. You are.
So we're here in this space that's very different to the lower level. We're treating it a little bit more delicate. It's a little bit more cooling, more white, more seamless. but it's also that bridge that crosses and links from the entry down to the lower level.
The biggest skylight in Australia, single span. It got broken twice getting here.
The skylight was deliberately put there just to give it that sense of volume and allow the moderate light.
This incredible master bedroom is accessed via two powerful concrete bridges.
The client really enjoys being up here because it's that space where you kind of elevate it, it's lofted, it feels cool. It's a space where we didn't want that sense of excess. We kept the palette very deliberately simple.
I know it's a very precious space, but would you be outraged if I just got a sense of what this is like to lie on this bed and look at that? You can actually see down to the water, into the view.
Well, you can
Out to the
and you can
horizon.
also see the sky.
And who wouldn't want to stay in this ultimate master suite? Sandcastles is giving you the chance to live like a billionaire at the exclusive Qualia. This is one of the most stunning spots in Australia, Hamilton Island. How would you like a holiday here? Just go to the website and vote for your favourite sandcastle, sandcastlestv.com. But next on Sandcastles, the clever connection between the master and the ensuite. Oi! Sandcastles, proudly supported by Boral. Build something great. Building on an island means everything has to come from the mainland, across the water, a logistical nightmare. In the case of this breathtaking sandcastle, it was worth the effort. Solis has broken new architectural ground on Hamilton Island.
A lot of the people were looking at it kind of cross-eyed, what are they doing here? And then when it's all finished, they look at it and they say, spectacular, amazing, iconic.
Renate de Torre is the man responsible for this new high watermark in tropical design. And upstairs, the surprises just keep coming.
We're walking through a glass link that leads onto the ensuite. So we've got floor, roof, all glass, and you experience that almost chasm.
It's a real break from that area, isn't it? Extraordinary connection.
And you can actually shower literally in the open by just pulling these doors, sliding these doors away, and again you'll get the breeze. You get nothing is between you and the environment.
Look at this. You've turned it in an instant into an outdoor space.
Just come and have a look. There's more, Peter.
There's so much to this house. To find out more detail, go to the website sandcastlestv.com. There's an organic flow about this house, the brilliant use of glass, highlighting water, light and nature.
So you can see we've done a kind of a circulation. There's not one directional, it's multiple. It's a circular access. We can go in one way, out the other. And we have the boulder here. You can see it in full majestic presence here.
It's such a dominant force in this design.
It's an ever-present element.
It reminds me of a Lloyd Rees painting, those wonderful boulders that he did, the wonderful landscape painter.
Well, he was renowned for boulders, and it is a Lloyd Rees boulder because it's beautiful.
On the lower level, it's a completely different feel. It's like a cave down here. There are water tanks used to top up the pools, and a secret little grotto, a plunge pool, which also frames that view. 2 guest bedrooms, but take a look at this. See how the wall folds in on itself, creating depth in the structure. It's very Romanesque. It's strong, it's heavy, containing, it's beautiful. The architect's palette is crucial in any design, and at Solis, the dominant material is undoubtedly concrete.
1,220 cubic metres of concrete. You don't do that in a unit complex, let alone a house.
The concrete is balanced and softened by the beautiful landscaping. And water, it infiltrates the entire design, providing life and reflections in all the other surfaces, which includes travertine, the white colour reflecting the light, and it's beautiful underfoot, and granite. Now, Boral do a similar product to this. It's called Cultured Stone. Go to their website and create your own timeless palette. One of the other products used cleverly is plasterboard.
This project is a great example about how versatile plasterboard is. It can work as a great complement to other building materials, and particularly throughout this project, alongside the concrete floors and walls, and the vast glass has been a great example of what plaster can visually achieve. The other great thing is a couple of design features that the architect has used, which is the use of a shadow line along the floor stairwell junction, and there's also shadow line extensively throughout some of the bedrooms in the wall ceiling juncture. The innovation has come from the flexibility of this lightweight product. He has been able to create little cutaways to put some really decorative lights in some of the smaller spaces, which is great, and using this lightweight product allows you to do that. Plasterboard is definitely a great base for decoration, and there's some brilliant art hung around this place.
Next on Sandcastles, the secret to keeping the world's tidiest kitchen. And if you're wondering how much all this luxury costs,
The client didn't fix a budget here.
after the break, find out how deep their pockets were. This is the ultimate house to relax. If you want to find an architect, go to findanarchitect.com.au. There you'll find A+ architects, and who knows, they may build something as nice as this. We're on Queensland's Hamilton Island at the ultimate holiday home, Solace. There's so much to be enchanted by in this unique sandcastle. The standout features: water, with the sea as the backdrop, soothing in the peaceful ponds, and in no less than 3 swimming pools. One of the unique things in this house is the kitchen. Take a look at this. Everything automatic. Underneath here is the cooktop. It's Italian, Corian on the face, stainless steel up the top. Everything at the push of a button. Underneath here is the sink. It's a Boffy system. The cost, basically, you could buy a luxury car. I also love the glass bridge between the master bedroom and the ensuite. It's simply spectacular. And perhaps the most extraordinary thing is this pool window. It's 50mm thick glass. It's the biggest pool window in Australia, but the effect, I've never seen anything like it.
Client didn't fix a budget here. I think he just was waiting to see the result of the concepts, the design, the drawings. I think it was around $7 million.
Now that's $7 million for the build alone. Imagine the price tag when you add the cost of the site, the fittings, and the extensive landscaping.
There are many moments here when one could just gaze at that cycle, that wonderful life cycle of birds, a breeze, the shade of a tree. All those things are really what makes this house quite nice and special. There's simple moments where you can just take time out of life and just focus on reconnect with nature.
Is there a better spot in Australia to be sitting? This is insane.
Not many in the world. Words don't do it justice.
No.
You know, it's almost spiritual.
Water's beautiful. This is the part of the show where I'm meant to assess the architecture, make some profound statement. Well, I'm not going to, and I don't want to. Lloyd Rees, the landscape painter, once said to me, there are certain works of art that don't need assessing. They're just meant to be enjoyed. And this house is like that, the way it meshes itself with the landscape. These are connections I don't want to understand. Next week on Sandcastles, we head to Sydney and a house designed for the quintessential surfing family.
You've got surf, you've got, you know, there's tennis courts and footy fields and ocean pool and...
Well, you feel like you're in one big caravan park here. You don't have to get in the car.
Sandcastles, proudly supported by Boral, Build Something Great, and the Australian Institute of Architects.
Hamilton Island is rich with flora and fauna, so we have a lush surrounding. So, you know, we wanted to connect to that. The house had to connect to that.
Pretty awesome. It was great to be involved in it, and now you look at the end result and you're very proud of what we achieved, and everyone that had involvement should be very proud of what they did.
The moment you stepped in the house, you had to drop your concerns, and the house was to overtake and let those, you know, daily issues of work be left at the threshold of the door.